we didn't have enough medicine. The chronic ones, for a long time, were non-existing. And the cancer treatment, and you know that cancer treatment frequently, like leukemia, for example, especially in children, it comes in stages. You give stage 1 or in cycles. So if you give the first cycle and the second cycle is not given, get remission, and the disease come back, you have to cure. And we had that problem a lot. The effect on the health directly on the people, I still saw the people reasonably nourished. Maybe because Iraq has got a lot still of dates. Money came to Iraq, food available, not always affordable. But I didn't see really a lot of undernutrition. Malnutrition is there mainly because family cannot afford or don't know how to get the right food. But the mental health is something else. I think the stress among the Iraqis in Iraq was more than obvious to me, and at all levels. Gradually started creeping into me, make me feel restless, irritable, anxious, and sometimes short-tempered. You can blame me and say, well, it's your fault. But when my secretary came one day, one day said, Afrah, you didn't come yesterday. I said, I couldn't sleep for 3 days. The heat was soaring. Can you blame him? I mean, us with the temperature reached 20 degrees centigrade in London, said, it's very hot. Can you manage at 50 degrees centigrade? And do you know if your brother has arrived safely to home? If you have children, do you know about them? What they're doing? Are they being kidnapped? Are they being killed? Your wife, your neighbor, your friend, and so on. It's just unbelievable stress, really. Medicine started getting more scarce, unfortunately, rather than better. I'll skip about this. I'll give you an idea about the number of nurses. Nurses in Iraq, 31,000. These figures are from 2005, toward the end of 2005. Female, only 900. Male, 21,000. So the majority are what? Male. I'm a male, and I know that the best nurse is a female. This is not sexist, not discrimination. It's natural, including in Britain and America and the Western countries, so-called liberated or not liberated, and also in the underdeveloped countries like Iraq. The number of nurses are more male. How about doctors? We had about 68,000 doctors. That's another ironic thing. So the number of nurses altogether are double the number of doctors. But it should be 6 nurses for 1 doctor. So that's another problem. Medical city. Medical city is a complex of hospitals, 6 major hospitals, many buildings, and underground. This is the only underground facilities in Iraq. With 16 conveyor belts. You know, you can walk in the airport from a terminal to another with the conveyor belt. But these been submerged under water for 15 years. The building, you can see the tall one, is 22 stories. In the days of Saddam Hussein, ironically, after the 16 stories you cannot go. One, this was occupied by the intelligence service. Okay? And at the top of it, there was an antenna that looked at the security of Saddam Hussein and his men. This was built in 1980. It's one of the pride of Iraq, actually, building. Surgical subspecialties. The one to the right is the Baghdad Teaching Hospital. Baghdad Teaching Hospital is the one that was opened in 1970, and before that was the Republic Hospital, before that was the Royal Monarch Hospital, and so on. And again, it is one of the best in the world, or used to be. Very modern, but was left to decay so badly. I'll show you some of the pictures. You can see some hospitals, some building behind it. All these buildings are medical city, right? So in addition to these 2 buildings, medical city, the Baghdad Teaching Hospital have got 1,000 beds, bigger than most of the hospitals here, probably all of them. Then we have the surgical subspecialty, we have the nursing hospital, we have the gastrointestinal hospital, and the pediatric hospital. That's the hospitals. But also we have the Institute of Radiology, the teaching laboratories, the conference halls. This hall is about a quarter of the two main halls that I'll show you. Now this is across the bridge, looking at the medical city. That's Baghdad Teaching Hospital. This green, this is not really plants. This is weed that's been growing for about 10 years, non-attended to. Eventually, this been cleared actually. And how long did it take to clear it? About a year. So it's quite intensive work. Right, these are quickly through this hospital before the war. Have you been to accident and emergency departments? Most of you gone through it. At the medical city, that was the only instruments in the whole casualty department. So when I saw it, I couldn't control my emotions. I felt about to cry and I rushed out with my driver bodyguard. Can you believe this in a hospital that is called one of the top 5 hospitals in the world? How possible? His photograph taken by me. That's the same. Fracture, weight traction. Anyone seen orthopedic ward? Right? So you pull the leg to disimpact the fracture, right? So we need, you put weight, counter traction by, this is rumble, sand in a bag. I also have one brick, and I have one photograph with bottle of 7-Up filled with water and things like that. If you look at this bed about 25, 30 years old, this is one of the modern beds and it's still functioning. So it's not really a hospital that is one of the third world countries. It's one of the very advanced countries, but left to decay. Where did the money go? Saddam Hussein palaces? Saddam Hussein war machine? Okay, every person should be proud of his country's strength. But where is the army? It collapsed in front of the American within a few weeks. So why did we give the money all to the army? Did it go to the army? Or did it go to Saddam Hussein and some of the underground Ba'athist movement that is now putting their head up to kill whoever? I don't want to go into politics, but I cannot help it sometimes to make some comment. But that is the situation. This is the rates. Sharp disposal. This is sharp disposal in Baghdad. Right? As the X-ray department was one of the best in the world. This is the nurses' school attached to the medical city. No electricity. نشط الكهرباء من الشارع. شنو يعني? What does that mean? We take a wire from outside to this. It was not within the complex, just outside the complex, but belongs to the medical city. No electricity. And I think there's another picture about it, doesn't matter. It was burned immediately after the war by thugs. Hang on a second, was it really thugs? Or was it some people deliberately burned it in order that they burn documents that can incriminate them because they were activists against the people and with their Ba'ath party? Anyway, that is the bottom, and that is the bed. This photograph on the left-hand side is being published in one American journal last week. Same. X-ray department. X-ray department. Look at this. It's not even a museum. Do you agree? Who can go there and have an X-ray or what? X-ray department. Now this is relatively new hospital within the complex, but this is immediately during the war and after the war. Beds of the patients, unexploded bombs or whatever. Yeah. Whatever left, some thugs and broke these instruments. No benefit to them. Got no